Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, this one I have been putting off for quite some time. Um, just because it's like I didn't really know what I could possibly talk about that would be, I guess, new or different from, probably what you hear all the internet right now in regards to getting into tech and kind of breaking into the field of cyber or really anything in tech actually. Um, but I'm just gonna go with cyber because that's my bread and butter, and that's what I know. So yeah, but I'm more or less just making this just to get this off my chest because, frankly speaking, like whoever it can help, even if it is just repeat, I'm fine with it. Like at this point, it's just if it helps you, that's good enough for me. So yeah, I guess let's just get into it then. So to kind of like demonstrate this, I actually just put it into like a bit of a slideshow. So yeah, just easy to talk about it that way. So breaking into cyber, right? Let's start. The industry. This industry right now is a bit of a mess. It's pretty bad at the moment. It's extremely volatile. So I think it's like if you're someone new or you're just graduating college or whatever really, and you're looking to get into the tech sector, you're in for a bit of a treat. Yeah, I mean, it's like if you were to, say, hey, get into tech like 5-10 years ago, that'd be understandable. But now it's like you're not only competing with people that have been in the industry for, decades now, 10-15 years, whatever, but you're also competing with like new talent, right? And that's probably what you might be a part of. You might be part of that new group who's just graduating, or you just finished high school, and let's say you don't want to take the college route, but you want to like still have a good tech job or something, and you are in for a rude awakening. And it's like, I'm not trying to be discouraging here because that's not my goal, right? But it's like you rather go in with realistic expectations of the industry and kind of the state that it is in now. So I guess if we are talking about like cybersecurity, right? It's an extremely lucrative field, right? If you're in it and you say you have a job, right? You're golden, right? Yeah, granted, the job might be a little stressful, the workload might be a little crazy at times, but you're good, you're luckier than most at the moment, right? Because some people right now, they have like 5-10 years experience already, and they're having a hard time finding a job. So it's crazy right now, honestly. But I would say understand the industry, figure out, I guess, like what skills are in demand, right? And kind of like pursue it that way, right? If you aren't sure, like let's just talk about cybersecurity here, right? Cybersecurity is a very broad field. And if you're not sure like which aspect or like which concentration of cyber you want to go into, I think it's always better to just do some research, watch a few videos or something and kind of see what clicks with you to get a better understanding of it before like, just diving into it. Yeah. Because it's like, I think that's, in my opinion, I think that's the biggest mistake that most like newcomers make. They like, try a bunch of things. They're like, okay, I'm gonna get into cyber, and then they're like, okay, well, we're gonna do pen testing. But it's like pen testing is a tough one to get into, even for people that are in the field at the moment. But yeah, no, I would say figure that out first and take it like step by step for sure. Let's go to the next slide real quick. So yeah, the industry again, right? The industry is constantly evolving. There's new threats, new things that are coming out almost on a day-to-day basis, right? Like we're talking about like, for example, vulnerabilities. There's new vulnerabilities being like found out in the wild almost every day. And that's the thing is you need to be able to adapt to something like that, Cybersecurity isn't the field where it's like you get in it and you're like, nope, I'm done here. No, because if you do that, oh, good luck. You're possibly going to lose your job in a matter of a few months. Just because it's like you constantly have to update your skills, the technologies you know, and you constantly have to be in like a state of learning in a way, whether that's through, I guess, like certifications, CTFs, or reading forums, reading some blog posts, whatever, right? So you constantly have to be like adapting with the field as it progresses. And there's also, shit like AI now, which is like automating a lot of tech jobs in general. Again, it's not, I think, as far as like cybersecurity goes, I don't think AI is there yet, at least, where it's, going to take over the field completely. Yeah, it is kind of at the point where it's automating a lot of like the tasks you do, like your day-to-day tasks. For example, if you're like a SOC analyst or something, right? You can have AI like run through the logs and everything and kind of like organize it in a more or less like cleaner way where it's more legible to yourself when you read it, right? So there's a lot you can do with it, but it's not at the point where it's gonna like completely take over the position. So yeah. Now, I guess why cyber, right? So like I said earlier, right? If you're in it, you're golden, right? Of course, the work's there with it too, but yeah, I mean, so this first bullet point's kind of funny. It is a strong job security because cybersecurity will always be in demand, right? It will always be that in-demand field, kind of. I say kind of because, again, the field right now is extremely saturated. It is like volatile as shit, okay? And of course, there's always that high like earning potential that you can get with this field. Of course, like most cybersecurity jobs will have the average salary in the six-figure thing, right? But that's kind of the kick to the nuts, okay? Because it's like most people hear that and they're like, oh yeah, I want to go in the field, right? Easy six figures. No, it's not easy six figures. It's six figures, but the work is there with it, right? The stress is there too, for sure. So don't go into it if that's your goal. If money is your motivation, please don't do this. I think it's like if you keep learning and you genuinely like have a passion for this, then I think you'll be successful. But if you're someone that's kind of going into it for, the wrong reasons, you'll wash yourself out really quick, I would say. And there's also like a lot of like sectors within the cybersecurity field, right? There's red teaming, blue teaming, purple teaming even, right? There's cloud security, there's GRC, so on and so forth, right? So that's, like I mentioned earlier, that's kind of the issue that most people run into, right? They think cybersecurity and it's like, but they don't go into it with a very like focused mindset, right? They bounce around from like, I guess field to field. They'll do a couple like try hack me courses or like a couple hack the box courses and be like, okay, I would say honestly, that's actually not even a bad idea. But after doing a few of those, it's best to understand what you personally like in the field, right? Whether that's blue teaming, red teaming, GRC, anything like that, right? So figure out your niche, I would say. And yeah, I mean, of course, it's always impactful work. You're always, the cybersecurity specialists are kind of like the backbone of the company in a way, because they're kind of preventing the company from getting absolutely screwed over. So yeah. But yeah, I would say this field is nice, but it is very learning heavy, I guess. I don't even know if that's a word or whatever, but a couple skills I think you should absolutely, pick up if you are looking to get into this field is networking, and that is, understanding certain, rules, protocols, so on and so forth, right? You should be able to understand and read like the rules of firewall, maybe, right? Or possibly even understand what certain ports are for, like for example, RDP, what port that is, or HTTP or HTTPS even, right? So you should know at least the fundamentals of networking, right? You don't need to be a specialist or whatever, but just have a general idea of it. Operating systems. All right, so this is kind of like split in a way because the top 3 operating systems that most companies use are Windows, Linux, and Macs. Okay, Macs, kind of, not every company is on Macs, but definitely familiarize yourself with Windows and Linux. I think those 2 are probably the most used. Okay, you should understand the fundamentals of both, right? Understand how the terminals work in both, and understand, I guess, like, certain commands in the terminals as well. So yeah, I like, honestly, just have a fundamental understanding of the operating system in general. Yeah, kind of the same as networking, right? And well, sorry about that. Okay, and yeah, cloud security and programming. Okay, so cloud security, most places, the top 3 cloud security providers are AWS, Azure, and GCP, right? Formerly known as Google or G Suite, I think. But yeah, those 3 are the top 3. I would say if you don't need to be a specialist in like all 3, but at least understand 1 to 2 of them. Me personally, most of my career in this field, I have delved mostly in the Azure suite. I am a little bit familiar with AWS, and I have dealt with actually GCP quite a bit. So the 2 that I've used the most are Azure and GCP. So yeah, familiarize yourself. I believe you can get like a free trial account for Azure. I'm not 100% sure here, but definitely worth looking into and kind of like messing around and playing around in that. Programming. Yeah, what? There's so many programming languages now. Honestly, it's pretty crazy, but I would say the top 3 you should probably know, especially for cyber, is Python, PowerShell, and Bash. Okay, and it's like these are more like scripting programming languages, but I think if you have a general understanding of these, it's probably gonna be really good for you in the long run, basically, right? You don't need to be an expert. You just need to be able to comprehend, like if you have a script in front of you, you should be able to understand what exactly it's doing and how it's working, right? So again, fundamental kind of basic to intermediate level understanding of it, and I think you should be fine. Again, it's like, I think as far as programming goes, it's like if you're a software engineer, then yeah, you should probably, have that down absolutely to like, I mean, there's other programming languages that are more important if you're a software dev, but yeah. Okay, the big one now. Certificates versus certifications. Please don't waste your time on certificates. I'm just gonna say it, okay? These certificates that you see everywhere on like YouTube and all that, right? The Google Cybersecurity cert and all those Coursera ones, just don't waste your time on it, okay? Because certificates, they don't mean anything. You can literally autoplay the video of any of these Coursera certificates, and just at the end, you can just Google, the answers to the quizzes. So it's just, please, as someone that's been on that rabbit hole, don't waste your time with it. Go for what is industry recognized and respected, okay? And that is beginner level certs, right? If you're just getting into it, beginner level certs, Security Plus, A Plus, Network Plus, or CCNA. I'll probably recommend CCNA, just, it's a little better, right? In my opinion. But yeah, go for certifications, all right? And if you're someone that's like, you have a little bit of experience in the field, and you have a couple like basic certifications, then go for some, intermediate to hard level certifications. Again, the CISSP and all these, I believe for CISSP, especially, you do need like 5 years of experience before you can get it or something like that. So yeah, again, do your research, and yeah, I would say give yourself roughly like, if you're new and just getting into the field, 3-ish months, 3 to 4 months of study time before taking it. If you're kind of already been in the tech sector, or like have a little bit of experience, whether that's system administration or help desk, and you kind of already do know the basics, about a month-ish, right? Just average, right? Yes, there are people that can, cram this and like do it in a matter of a week, but again, for your own sanity, just keep it simple, right? Job search strategies. So again, the job market right now is a mess. So I think how you can approach this, right, is yes, you can tailor your resume. Don't tailor your resume to each freaking position, okay? Because you're going to be applying to hundreds, if not thousands of positions, and that's just not practical, right? I would say rather than doing that, create like 3 or 4 resumes kind of catered to the positions you're looking for, right? So for example, if you're looking for a security analyst position, have a resume specifically catered to security analyst and the work that you do there, right? If you're looking for a security engineer, have one catered to that. If you're looking for system administration, one for that, so on and so forth, right? I would say 3 to 4 separate resumes, right? That's a good rule of thumb there. So you can do that, but I think more importantly, it's better to network in like on LinkedIn or wherever really, right? I think if you are currently employed, right, try to move laterally within the company, right? Network within the company. Because believe me, being in the job market right now is not worth it. For your own sanity and shit, just please, if you can avoid that right now, just do that, right? Hold on to your job if you have one. So yeah. Also, if you're just getting into the field, do consider, and I kind of hate saying this, but it's like, I see the value in this, right? Consider help desk or consider entry level positions, because at this point, you're competing with millions and millions of people in the field right now. And I don't think it's worth to be super nitpicky about the type of positions, you want. So consider entry level positions, I would say, right? Just temporarily too, whether that's contract or full-time, right? Really just be open-minded, I would say. And the biggest thing now here, right? Especially if you're someone looking into getting into cybersecurity, right? Have a solid portfolio. Okay, your GitHub portfolio should be really good, right? Work on some projects. Work like really, do a lot of commits on GitHub if you can. Constantly develop your skills, right? Post on GitHub, engage with the community there. So yeah, your portfolio should be your, I guess, like selling point in a way, right? So yeah, work on that. Next tip, all right? Yeah, like I said, resume, right? Highlight your experience, highlight your hands-on projects that you have, whether that's labs or CTFs or really anything, right? Just put that at the top, right? That should be the first thing recruiters or whoever sees, right? And yeah, I would say really just work on your interviewing skills. Use ChatGPT or something to help prep for interviews, right? And yeah, just constantly upgrade your skills in a way. And again, like, I think the thing is, right, no one should be nervous about interviews anymore. We're at the point where, like, if you're someone that like is just getting out of college, right? Okay, sure. Makes sense to be a little nervous about interviews because, this is your first time kind of like stepping into the field, right? But if you're someone that's in the field and you've, been through this process, right? You shouldn't be nervous about an interview. Just be confident and really be able to articulate what you know, right? And what you kind of bring to the field or bring to the table. And yeah, really just showcase your problem solving skills. So yeah. All right. So yeah, like I said before, continuous learning, right? Home labs, CTFs, try Hack Me or Hackbox, whatever, right? Constantly develop your skills. Yeah, follow some cybersecurity blogs or forums, engage in LinkedIn posts if you can. It's a lot. Like at times, like I personally get overwhelmed too about like how much you have to do just to like, even land a position. But again, it's like, that's kind of the, shitty market we're in right now. So, you just need to at this point. And yeah, I would say this last one that I have, right? I was really like debating on like putting this one in because it's like, as far as conferences go, I personally have never been like big on like going to these conferences and stuff or whatever, but I'm at the point where like I'm starting to see the value in this, right? And it's like I'm actually going to be traveling to Japan this June and attending the World Fair in Kyoto. So that's gonna be really fun. This will be, I think, my like second or third conference actually. I guess I don't know if you want to call it a conference. It's kind of like a fair type of thing, right? They have like really cool tech gadgets and everything. But yeah, just network and everything. And also like if you guys want to kind of see that too, like see me vlog my journey to Tokyo and kind of like, you know, take you through my little trip, right? Just let me know down in the comments, and honestly, I'll probably just gonna do it regardless. But yeah, you know, be open to attending like job fairs and conferences and so on, right? And yeah, final tips really just biggest thing I can say is stay consistent and like yeah, like just don't be discouraged because of what the market is right now. It's really shitty, and you know, I hate to say it, but again, it's like if this is something you genuinely enjoy and like to do, be consistent. Keep learning, keep upgrading your skills, and you know, eventually I'm sure it's like you'll find a job that you like. So yeah. I guess this is honestly it for this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, really just leave them down in the comments. And if you guys can leave a sub or something, that'll be super helpful. It really helps me grow this channel and kind of get, you know, helps me like, you know, get a better idea of like what you guys like in this channel. And yeah, I mean, I will probably do a few more tutorial styles videos in the future too, just because I do have a few things like lined up for the next few weeks. But yeah, and I guess I will catch y'all in the next one.